Once again, SmackDown delivers a solid show. Way better. The show is way better than Monday Night Raw at this point. I think SmackDown is the A show. And it's not like the stories are magnificent. There's no award-winning storylines in this episode, but it's all about the momentum that these characters like Trick Williams, Sami Zayn, Damian Priest, Drew McIntyre, Cody, even Cody Rhodes, man. Like, all of these characters had something to believe in and just have momentum that carries them throughout the next week. I don't understand why Monday Night Raw just has a hard time with building characters and building momentum for these characters, having important and meaningful matches, and just meaningful segments in general. And a month ago, I would say that SmackDown was probably worse than Raw, but it's getting to the point where three shows in a row that SmackDown was way better than Raw, and SmackDown actually had some decent and good shows. I can't hate on the show because they actually tried. You can see the effort. And I'm at the point where, if at least they're trying to make a good show and I can see the effort, I can't hate. I can't hate on the show. I've seen the show suck so many times, so many months, so many years of the show sucking, where they finally have consecutively 3 good shows. That's great for them. They need to keep this momentum, though. And honestly, I don't see how they... Well, I can see how they screw this up, because there's still some storylines that I dislike, right? Like the Wyatt Six and the MFT group. Why are they still feuding? Right now they're feuding over a freaking light bulb. That's their main feud now. But other than that, I would say the show was pretty good, right? There was no meaningless feuds, no drawn-out feuds. We no longer have Aleister Black and Damian Priest fighting every single second over nothing, honestly. I don't even know what they were fighting for still, but I'm glad that that feud is over. Now, we need to wrap up this MFT and Wyatt Six feud. I'm over it. It's pretty boring. I think that was the most boring part of that last night's show. But, I mean, we have guys like Kit Wilson. I mean, Kit Wilson's amazing, man. His gimmick is amazing. What, toxic masculinity? That's his little gimmick. Very funny. They had a nice little scene where they cut his music off. He, went to beat someone up, cut the music back on. He went back to his little strut. I think Kit Wilson is amazing for SmackDown. And that's what Raw is missing. They're really missing these gimmicks. They're missing the fun aspect of entertainment, of wrestling entertainment. There's no fun moments. I feel like most of Monday Night Raw is just boring. It's just matches that we've seen many times before, that have no stipulation, have no meaning behind, and we're just missing those fun moments. So, Monday Night Raw, I please take notes. I don't know. I mean, I know it's Triple H, who's the head of creative over there, and I know in SmackDown there's some other guy. I don't know who. Honestly, I don't remember. I remember it was like Road Dogg or whatever his name was, who was writing for SmackDown. I don't know if he still is, but whatever changed, keep it up, man. Keep it up. Now let's dive into the show segment by segment. We're going to break it down. Let's get into it. So we start off with Drew McIntyre coming out. He has a little promo, and he basically talks about how he's the new champion and how, all the fans are cheering for him now, but they weren't cheering for him when he was at his lowest, right? So the only person who had his back was himself. And I thought this was a pretty good promo. I mean, people were still saying you deserve it. It was in Europe, and, Drew is European, so people are going to cheer for him no matter what. But yeah, this was a good promo. Basically, it was a heelish type of promo. Randy Orton then comes out and interrupts. And Randy Orton basically saying, I beat you before, I can beat you again, and I'll hit you with the RKO. A very normal, generic Randy Orton promo. I think this is setting up for a future feud between Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre, which I wouldn't mind. I think Drew McIntyre will most likely win this battle. But it's a good filler feud to have, right? As long as it's a legend in Randy Orton. So I'm not going to complain when that's their filler feud. You can't really complain about that. Jacob Fatu then interrupts and attacks McIntyre, creating some chaos. After he did help Drew McIntyre win this title, but it looks like, he still has problems with him. He's trying to figure out who was the person to attack him. Who attacked Jacob Fatu? We don't know. Randy Orton could be in those suspects, but for some reason he's only attacked Drew McIntyre and Cody Rhodes so far. So we will see what happens in the future for this story. We then have a qualifying match. We had a lot of qualifying matches this night. And I think this was another reason why this show kind of felt more important. And I know we've been getting a lot of tournaments as of lately. But tournaments are a very easy way for them to make the show feel important. I think that's kind of why they do it. And it works. It works most of the time because it feels important. You're like, okay, who should win this? Who should win this? And they have usually a very good matchup where it's 50-50. So I don't mind them doing tournaments, but they do need to find other ways to make matches feel special, right? And that's with storylines. But they're not great. As I said in the beginning, they're not great with making stories as of yet. Hopefully they can build off of, all of the stars and characters that they have on SmackDown. They can make great stories, but it's all about the writing, and they have to actually have effort. So hopefully that can change in the future. We will see. But we then get Randy Orton versus The Miz, and before the match started, The Miz hit Randy Orton because he was not paying attention with the skull-crushing finale. But we get into the match. Randy Orton ends up winning. It was a solid match. I mean, pretty quick. There was no ads, which was nice. I think most people would have predicted Randy Orton to win this match. But we then get into Trick Williams versus Matt Cardona. Trick Williams gets the win. It kind of sucks that Matt Cardona really came back just to, not job out, but, lose important matches. But, Trick Williams did need this win. He's still up and coming. They want to push him as a star. And throughout this episode, he was kind of one of the main characters of the show, which was nice to see. It was a solid match. Trick Williams, I'm not a fan of his finisher, especially when it doesn't look like it connects. I mean, the one he did to Sami Zayn to end the show was perfect, right? The knee actually looked like it hit him in the head. It probably did. I don't know. But, yeah, I don't know. I think his finisher should be the rock bottom or the bookend, one of those moves. I mean, it's the same move, but I think that move looks better, and it just looks like it hurts more than a fake knee to the head. But, I don't know. That's just me. We then get into Damian Priest versus Solo Sikoa. Now, this was a shocker to me. I thought Solo Sikoa was going to win, but honestly, I forgot about the MFT and the Wyatt 6, that whole feud that's going on. So, obviously, there was an interference. The Wyatt 6 comes out and, takes out the MFTs and kind of shakes Solo Sikoa a bit. And Damian Priest hits him with the... What's his move again? Here's the one thing with Damian Priest. He's not great when it comes to promos, but he has a great moveset. His finisher move, his signature move, great. His moveset's amazing. Like, Damian Priest is one of the best, I would say, in the ring. Like, he's not like a, an agile guy, but for his size, he's like, 6'6". But yeah, Damian Priest gets the win. He hits him with his finishing move. I forgot the name of his finishing move. Oh, South of Heavens. There we go, South of Heavens. Great name, too. But yeah, this shocked me a bit. I thought Solo Sikoa was going to get this win. But honestly, Damian Priest wins like almost every match. It's kind of crazy. He's protected like crazy. I don't think anyone's kicked out of his South of Heavens that I can remember. I don't remember anyone kicking out of it as of lately. So they're pushing Damian Priest pretty heavily. I don't think he's going to win this tournament, but he is getting major wins, and that's something to note. Now the last match of the day. Oh, honestly, I forgot to bring up Carmelo Hayes Open Challenge. It was against Leon Slater, the TNA champion, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm tired of the Open Challenge. I think this has been going on for a little too long at this point. Don't get me wrong, this was a great match. I mean, in-ring ability, amazing. Leon Slater is always going to put on a good show. Same with Carmelo Hayes. But I kind of want some storylines. I just want something new. At this point, it's getting very repetitive. Yes, we're getting good matches, but it's just repetitive. And there's always going to be something that you dislike from the show, so it's whatever. Now, before I forget, we got to talk about Cody Rhodes. He came out, basically, I mean, he really talked a lot of nothing, but there was more content when Jacob Fatu came out and, talked about Cody Rhodes. He attacked Drew McIntyre, and Cody Rhodes basically stood up for himself and called out Jacob Fatu. And, later in the show, Jacob Fatu came out, said, Cody Rhodes, meet me in the ring. They meet in the ring, and they have a whole little brawl. Now, at least Cody has something to do after losing his title. I forgot to bring up, Drew McIntyre said there was a no rematch clause, so Cody's back to starting from the bottom. Or at least we think so, because they're probably going to have him win the Royal Rumble 3 years in a row, which would absolutely suck. But we'll see what happens with Cody in the future. Hopefully they don't have him just book like Superman or the QB1 again. Let Drew McIntyre have his time. Let other guys have their time to feud with Drew McIntyre. I think that's the best for business at this point. Yeah, let's talk about the main event, which was Ilya Dragunov, Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn ends up winning this match. It was a solid match. I mean, most matches of Sami Zayn and Ilya Dragunov, it's going to be great. So it was a good match. Trick Williams, though, ends the show with beating up Sami Zayn, which, now that I remember, the first time that we saw Trick Williams was when he interrupted Sami Zayn, and they kind of had this little beef going on. So I think that's going to be Trick Williams' first main rival. And honestly, this helps Sami Zayn as well, right? Sami Zayn needs something new, right? I don't think anyone wants to see him chase for the world title, but I think this is something new for him to do, and he can really elevate a Trick Williams and also elevate himself. And at this point, SmackDown is the only show that's worth watching at this point, right? It's not for the storylines, like I already said. It's just the momentum that all these characters are going on right now. It feels special. It feels like it's important. So, yeah, man, SmackDown, please keep it up, right? If SmackDown gets worse, I will talk about it, and I will give them flack, and I will, you know what I mean? But if they're continuously having a better show each week, I will give them credit. Now, Raw, on the other hand, oh my God, continuously have just been bad show after bad show after bad show. Now, they're probably going to bring in an Obafemi, which they desperately need. They need a new guy to really shake up the division. Because they really don't, CM Punk, Braun Breaker, and then who else is like at that main event level? There's not much. So they need a new guy. They need some fresh stories. Dominic Mysterio, I don't even know what he's doing. Who's the mid-card champion? Is it Dominic Mysterio still? Oh, no, it can't be. It really, I don't even know who the mid-card champion is on Raw. It's Dominic Mysterio. So, I don't know why Dominic Mysterio is still the mid-card champion. That's the problem with Raw. We have people who have these titles. You end up forgetting who's the champion because they don't do anything. They don't do anything. There's no memorable feuds that I've... the only time I remember Dominic Mysterio really having a feud was John Cena, right? And other than that, there's not much. Maybe in AJ Styles one week where he was like hiding from AJ Styles. But that's really it. And I'm pretty sure he's had this title for like over 3 months, probably 4 months. I don't even know. Was this since WrestleMania? Guys, can we please end this title reign? Dominic Mysterio is not that good. He's not great at promos. He's not great in the ring. He's not great at telling stories. He relies on other people to tell his own stories, which is like, he's a grown man. He should be able to tell his own stories. He's no longer Rey Mysterio's son. He's his own name. And to be your own name, you have to be able to tell your own stories. But yeah, man, that's going to be it for this video. Drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace out.